Hello, boys and girls. We're excited for another lesson with Jerry, the geologist. Now, we know Jerry, the geologist, loves to talk about rocks. So today we're going to talk about the three types of rock. So let's get ready to listen to Jerry, the geologist. Now, boys and girls, the right amount of heat can turn a solid rock or metal into a liquid. Pressure from the weight of the earth and movement of the materials inside the earth can crush rocks. Over time, the effects of heat and pressure create the rock formations and other interesting things we find around the world. Working together are those three words we've talked about this whole unit. Our heat, pressure, and time create the three types of rocks that exist in the world. Every rock in the world can be placed into one of three categories. Three types of rock are igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Let's try to say those together. Echo me. Igneous, sedimentary, metamorphic. The first type of rock is igneous, is the most common, which is what we see most of the time. Igneous rocks come in many forms. Some form entire mountains, and some appear as boulders jutting from the earth. This picture shows a close-up of one type of igneous rock. This plain old gray rock contains different types of minerals and hasn't always been a plain old gray rock. The word igneous comes from the Latin word of fire, because igneous rocks begin deep down in the heat of the Earth's mantle. As we've talked about, the Earth's mantle is full of hot, gooey, oozing substance known as magma, or melted rock. The magma is constantly being forced towards the surface by pressure from within the Earth. As it travels upward from the mantle through the crust, the magma begins to cool and harden. Sometimes the magma erupts from a volcano, but sometimes the conditions aren't quite right for a volcano. The formation is called a half dome. It is located in Yosemite National Park in California. When you look at the half dome, you're looking at an old magma chamber. A magma chamber is a pocket or a place in the Earth's crust where magma collects. As more magma enters the chamber, it gets hotter and the pressure builds and the magma can force its way up to the surface in the form of a volcano. Or sometimes, as in the case of the half dome, the magma just gathers in the chamber and stays there without erupting. For whatever reason, the heat and pressure did not get great enough to force the magma through the crust and onto the surface in the form of lava. Instead, the magma cooled and hardened within the chamber. And over time, rocks and soil around the chamber eroded away, leaving this beautiful half dome alone sticking high up above the earth. This half dome is certainly a big igneous rock. Another type of igneous formations occurs when magma intrudes or pushes itself between layers of rock. This means that not all the layers in this mountain were formed one on top of each other. Rather, some layers forced their way between the other rocks. This is my favorite type of igneous rock, obsidian, better known as volcano glass. Volcano glass forms when certain types of lava cool and harden, becoming smooth and shiny and glass-like. Only certain types of lava under certain conditions become this special volcano glass. Some Native Americans used this type of rock to make arrowheads and spearheads. If you were to break a piece of the volcano glass, you would find that it's incredibly sharp and incredibly strong. Every now and then, I find ancient artifacts like this when I'm out rock hunting. After igneous, the second major rock type is sedimentary. Sedimentary Rocks are not formed like igneous rocks, which form from cooled magma. In fact, heat does not play much of a role at all in formation of a sedimentary rock. Instead, pressure and time are the most important factors in the formation of sedimentary rocks. The word sedimentary refers to tiny particles like dirt or rock, which get carried along in water, ice, wind, or landslides. If you dump a spoonful of sand into a glass of water, you'll see the sand slowly sink down and settle at the bottom of the glass, much in the same way that sediments settle at the bottom of lakes and oceans. Sediments are always floating around in lakes and oceans and rivers. Over time, sediments in lake water will settle and form a thick sludge at the bottom of a lake. As more and more sediments settle at the bottom, more and more weight presses down on the sludge. Over time, the pressure from the weight in the upper sediments can cause the sludge to harden into rock. Through time and pressure, layers of sediments are turned into sedimentary rock. Coal is a type of sedimentary rock that comes from decayed plants that have been under pressure for many years. Coal is an important energy source. People burn coal in order to create electricity for homes and to make energy to power machines in factories. People get coal and other important rocks, minerals, and metals by mining for them from the earth. One way to mine coal is by digging a mine shaft or a tunnel deep down into the earth. Another sedimentary rock is called iron ore. An ore is a type of rock that contains a valuable mineral or metal. There are many types of ores in the world, but iron is one of the most important. Iron ore is the source of iron, a strong metal which is used to make steel. Steel is what we use to build bridges, cars, tools, and other things you see and use every day. Sandstone would be a very common type of sedimentary rock. Wherever you find sandstone, there's a good chance that you're walking in a place that used to be completely underwater. At one time or another, every place on Earth has been completely submerged in water. Thus, sandstone is quite common throughout the world. This photo is taken in Bryce Canyon in the state of Utah, which is known for its unique sandstone formations. Here is another sandstone canyon I thought you'd like to see. This is in Arizona. It is known as a slot canyon, which is formed over many years as water from rain and floods rush through the sandstone, causing it to erode. These cliffs are made of limestone, which is another type of sedimentary rock. Limestone is interesting because it is composed mainly of minerals left over from ancient sea creatures like clams, oysters, and other shellfish. When these creatures died, their shells sank to the bottom of the ocean floor and settled with the other sediments. Over time, the churning oceans ground the shells into a fine white powder. The powder settled in more shells and sediments put pressure on it. It took many years, but eventually all of the powdery shell leftovers were compressed into limestone. If limestone is subjected to intense pressure for an even longer period of time, it can turn into another kind of rock called marble. Marble is a very hard and very strong and often has a beautiful pure white color. People have used marble for thousands of years to make fine buildings and sculptures. Marble is known as a metamorphic rock, which is the third and least common type of rock. Metamorphic comes from the Greek word transformation or change. Metamorphic rocks are formed when other types of rocks undergo intense heat and pressure and change or metamorphosize into a new kind of rock. Congratulations, you're becoming a geologist. Now you know about our 3 types of rock: igneous, sedimentary, metamorphic. Won't everyone be impressed when you tell them the new words you learned today? Go out and hunt for a rock and tell us what you can find.